Austin, you're a very smart guy. You have a very smart team there. What do you guys think that GM could do in 60 days that it hasn't done already?
Well, I think as the president outlined today, the key stakeholders in this thing, everybody's got to put some more skin in the game. So you got the bondholders, you got the workers, you got the dealers, the suppliers. There has been a feeling among, say, the bondholders, people viewing the bondholders, that they were holding out on the thought that, well, maybe the government will just put them on life support and keep bailing them out no matter what, and therefore they don't need to make concessions. And what the president laid out today is we're going to have tough conditions. They've got to be viable. He believes they can be, and there's every reason to think that they will make a series of changes, fundamental changes, that put them on a different path.
Why should Fiat or anybody else, though, partner up now with Chrysler, given the review that you guys gave of Chrysler, essentially saying you don't see a path towards viability for them?
Well, the thing that the president said and what the Auto Task Force felt was appropriate is there's no path to viability of Chrysler as a standalone enterprise because it's simply not big enough. If you look at the successful auto companies around the world, they are all bigger than Chrysler. So a company could partner with Chrysler and it would be a viable enterprise, but as a standalone entity, Chrysler's got some major challenges.
You're welcome. For more, let's bring in our panel now. Matt Lewis, a blogger and writer for AOL Politics Daily, and Jane Hamshire, blogger at firedoglake.com, who's written about the automakers longer than anybody I know. Jane, your reaction to what we just got?
I don't know how making Chrysler bigger is going to make anything better. That seems to be how we got into this problem in the first place. But I'm actually going to challenge some people who think that the administration is being hypocritical here. Yes, they are with regard to CEOs, but frankly, when they're saying to the bondholders, and this is all about the bondholders, when they're saying to them, you finally have to take a haircut, they are saying that to Wall Street because that is who's holding the bonds. The question is, now, will they do that to the banks as well? If you took the too big to fail banks, you know, who have probably a balance sheet worth about $12 million, about 67% of that is unsecured debt. And if they wrote that down 50%, the taxpayers wouldn't have to pay anything. So the question is, you know, why aren't they doing that?
And Matt Lewis, how come they're not doing that? How come they're not putting the same pressure on those banks that are being put on the bondholders, essentially, that are helping with the automakers?
Well, what I think about it doesn't matter as much as the fact that it's arbitrary. And this is the problem when you let government pick winners and losers. Because what happens is, instead of letting merit or success determine who succeeds and who fails, you have this sort of arbitrary situation where Barack Obama and his advisors get to pick winners and losers. And you know what the market really needs more than anything is certainty. And if you're an investor out there, if you're going to start a business, or if you're a stock or whatever, you honestly don't know what's going to happen. Some people, this started actually under Bush with Lehman, Lehman Brothers gets bailed out, other people fail. It is very, very dangerous, and it's actually very bad for the economy. And right now, there's this sort of schizophrenic White House. So I could be cynical and say, hey, if you're a rich banker, you get bailed out, and if you're a blue-collar worker in Michigan, you don't. But I won't do that because I'm not going to play the populist card.
Jane, what happens if Chrysler, they've got 30 days, if this deal with Fiat doesn't work out and Chrysler goes bankrupt? Do we know what the unintended consequences might be?
You know, I don't really know what they hope to achieve by joining it together with Fiat. Originally, the Fiat deal was supposed to be they got the right to manufacture Fiat's, cars in the United States, but that usually takes a very long time to adapt. So I don't know what they're hoping. They may just very well be saying, Chrysler, we're going to let you go, and then try and save GM. It really does seem to be about restructuring GM's bond debt.
Is there a tonal problem for the White House? I mean, we mentioned in Hypocrisy Watch that the bank CEOs, they get lunch at the White House, and some of them describe it as pleasant, and Rick Wagner gets shown the door.
Well, and I think there is a tonal problem, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we were told that the AIG bonuses could not be restructured because we are a country of laws, says Larry Summers, and we cannot break our contracts. And yet here we sit with GM saying we will not let you continue as a company unless you break your contracts with your bondholders. So there is a double standard here.
And there's political hypocrisy too. I mean, remember John McCain was just torn up for saying that some of these jobs in Michigan aren't going to come back. Well, Barack Obama said that last week, and there wasn't a problem. I wonder if folks in Michigan are going to maybe see things differently politically in the next couple of years.
Well, that's a whole interesting question as well. Well, we're going to Jane, let's start with you. A couple people have written in asking for predictions about the automotive industry. What do you think is going to happen?
I think the bondholders are in a game of chicken with the administration. I think that they'll get some of what they want. There are financial reasons why the administration isn't going to want to take GM into bankruptcy. So I think that they'll probably get a little bit more than the deal they're being asked to take right now.
What about Chrysler?
Chrysler may go. I think that they may decide to put Chrysler, Chrysler's on life support. And so I think that Chrysler, they may finally realize that they can't do anything. And hopefully by the time they have to make that decision, GM will have an answer to their problems.